everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. To give our lovely YCR hosts a little introduction, my name is Hannah, and I'm a third-year student at U of C in natural science. With me today is Miles and Ryan. Miles, do you want to give yourself a quick introduction?
Sure.
Oh, he's gone. Okay, I'll pass it over to Ryan first.
All right. Did that not work?
You disappeared for a brief second there.
Am I back?
You're
Am I
back.
alive?
You look good. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Hey, Paul. My name is Miles. I am a fourth-year student in political science at the University of Calgary, and I've been with YCR for about a year. So yeah, excited to hear your talks. Excited to learn about fisheries.
Great. Thanks.
Perfect.
I'll just say I'm also a political science student, finishing my fourth year, graduating the end of this month, doing a double major in criminology and poli-sci. And yeah, I've been with that YCR for about a year and a half now, coming to it. So yeah, I'm excited for this discussion.
Super. Thank you so much, you guys. Welcome back to YCR's Food for Thought series. For anybody that is just seeing YCR for the first time, we are an advocacy group made by students and young professionals for students and young professionals. We believe that Canada can have a strong future in resources, the economy, and the environment. Please connect with us on our social media at any time. We have Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. All of them are at YC Resources. You can keep up with what we do and check out any fun events that we have coming up. We are super excited to have Paul Lansbergen joining us today. Paul joined the Fisheries Council of Canada in November of 2017. In September 2022, he was elected as a vice chair of the International Coalition of Fisheries Associations. He's recognized for his strategic and innovative insight as a consensus builder and as a progressive leader. He has received a number of awards, including being named as a top 100 food and beverage leader by the 2021 Global Summit on All Things Food. Paul is a member of the advisory committee for the Canadian Integrated Ocean Observing System. From 2019 to 2022, he served as co-chair of the Canadian Environment Domestic Advisory Group and under the C/EU Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement. Paul has over 25 years of experience in public policy, advocacy, and association leadership, previously working for the forest and fertilizer industries and as a political advisor on Parliament Hill. Paul is a certified association executive and has 2 degrees in economics. He's also a municipal councillor for a small community in Boileau, Quebec. Before I hand the floor over to Paul here, please know that attendees are encouraged to ask questions throughout the presentation using the Q&A box below. We will cover all of these at the end of the session. And if you are watching on Facebook, please feel free to comment any questions and we'll make sure that we get to those as well. Paul, thank you so much for joining us today. We are super excited to see your presentation. I've just done a lot of talking, so I'll mute myself and I'll get out of your way here.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Hannah, Ryan, and Miles, for this invitation and opportunity to speak. And some of those organizations, Hannah, that you had to list off, I seem to, search out the ones with the longest and obscure names, perhaps. But anyway, so I'll start my presentation and we'll get underway and leave some time for Q&A because I think that'll be the most interesting part. So I'll just get right into it. And okay, so as I click, you should be able to see the slides progress. I just got 4 quick topics to cover today. And let me just, there we go. And first, I need to talk a little bit about the Fisheries Council of Canada, or FCC for short. So I've got a couple slides here on that. We view ourselves as a constructive stakeholder in the ocean economy. We promote a healthy resource and a prosperous industry and think both can be achieved at the same time. Our primary mandate is to advocate on behalf of our members and the sector, but as the national voice, we communicate publicly to promote and defend the industry. We represent the wild capture processors on all 3 coasts, so we don't represent the aquaculture side. There's a separate association for that. All our members also have harvesting operations, and we have an associate class of membership, which encompasses organizations up and down the supply chain. We have a 3-year strategic plan, which includes 6 strategic priorities. And so the first one is regulations to ensure that our Fish resources are sustainable, but also that we have predictability to invest for the future. On market access, we export over 80% of our production, so this is critical. Food production, we want to be seen as food producers. And sustainability, this is paramount for us, and we want to be recognized for our leadership and performance. Competition, this relates to access to the resource. And strength, we continually strive to be the best for our members. One of our activities that I'm especially proud of is our Future Leaders Canada program. This could be quite interesting for the YCR viewers today. It is a sector specific career development program that provides participants exposure to much more of the supply chain than they would see day to day in their responsibilities. And it also gives them networking with peers and leaders across the sector. We had record participation last year, and this year we have 9, which is just over our average of 8 participants. And participants visit Ottawa, Montreal in May, Chicago in July, and St. John's, Newfoundland in August. And the program is open to anyone employed along the supply chain, wild and aquaculture as well. Domestic marketing, this is another initiative that warms my heart. It's our Choose Canadian Seafood domestic marketing campaign. This is the first of its kind. It is joint with the aquaculture side of the sector, and our tagline, Smarter Meals Out of the Blue, differentiates us from other proteins. Our approach highlights the ease of introducing seafood into regular meal rotations, the health benefits of eating seafood, and the positive attributes of Canadian products. And we are very happy to earn the partnership of Sobeys as they've put our logo on their packaged products in 370 locations nationwide. And you can see that on the slide. We have a number of priorities, and here's some of our current priorities. I won't go into any details of these because that would take way too long, but feel free to ask me any questions after my presentation. Looking at the global seafood industry, globally, 82.5% of the harvests are from sustainable fish stocks. So that's volume, not just the number of individual fish stocks. And we need to get that to 100%. And the way to achieve that is through broader adoption of effective fisheries management and best practices. There's an organization called the High Level Panel for a Sustainable Ocean Economy, and it has done a number of different analyses, and they found that under optimistic projections regarding alternative marine aquaculture, feed innovations and uptake, the ocean can provide over 6 times more food than it does today. Just think about that, 6 times. And that would represent more than 2/3 of the animal protein needed to feed the future population. The high-level panel also found that increasing the fraction of ocean-based food in the global diet in place of animal-based proteins, this would reduce the carbon intensity of our global food system and help mitigate climate change. And looking at some numbers, blue foods are less carbon intensive than other protein sources. So eating more fish can reduce the greenhouse gas emissions associated with our individual diet. So as individual consumers, this is one area where we can make a significant difference without a significant disruption of our standard of living or way of life. Addressing challenges in the world like climate change and biodiversity requires tremendous amount of investment. And another interesting finding from the high-level panel is that the benefit ratio for investments in ocean-based proteins is 10-1. So, we should all be supportive of investments in sustainable blue food, and I wish our own retirement savings yielded those types of returns. Shifting over to the Canadian industry and give you a few stats there. We are the leading sector within Canada's blue economy, and our success is critical to the prosperity of coastal communities. In many cases, we are the anchor employer in the community. When you listen to the news, you likely only hear negative stories, which are sometimes sensationalized because that's what sells. Good news doesn't sell very well. but there is good news. Here are two critical facts about our sector. The first is from Fisheries and Oceans Canada, which is our government department. And the second is from the Marine Stewardship Council, which is the global certification standard for wild capture fisheries. And we're continually trying to improve upon our performance. And lastly, I want to conclude by highlighting our vision for the future. So the two national associations for wild and farmed got together and developed a joint vision for Canada. And we want to see the country to be in the top 3 global best quality and sustainable seafood producers. And this was developed as part of our input to the government's Blue Economy strategy that they've been working on since 2019. If we achieve our growth target, which for wild capture is going to be through added value, not volume, we believe we can double the value of Canadian seafood, double the economic benefits, and double the domestic consumption of Canadian seafood. And again, for wild capture fisheries, investments in precision fish harvesting technologies will be the way we do it. It will improve efficiencies, yields, lower greenhouse gas emissions, as well as other environmental impacts such as bycatch and benthic disruption. And I'm going to end it there so we can have more discussion and allow you to ask a bunch of questions. And I see we've got a few already. So
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.